This is your 2020 Volvo V60 T8 plug-in hybrid electric vehicle, inscription trim, and it's Polestar engineered. So that is a lot of words to describe this, but it is a lot of cars. So let's get right into it. Carryover models for the last couple of years, so nothing much has changed. Still got those cool Thor's Hammer day runners, which also double as your turn signals. Not really a big fan of the chrome down here. Just, kind of okay without it. Cool thing that I've always liked is Volvo has made their grille kind of concave, so you can see just how it scoops in a little bit. And there's a good shot of it there. And there's an awesome shot of the Thor's Hammer day runners, and you can see, again, as I said, they double as your turn signals, and you get full LEDs because, well, it's Volvo, and that's what Volvo does. But just backing up a little bit, it's a nice minimalistic design, and that's what Volvo is known for. And I had an 87 240 DL, and that thing was, well, to me, it was beautiful, not to everybody. Going around to where we started, it casts a really nice front quarter profile. The rims. If you've watched any of my videos, you know I love classic 5-spoke rims. That's exactly what these are, and just absolutely perfectly suited for the vehicle. Push that in a little bit, and that's where you plug in the vehicle. We'll get into more of that a little later on. Again, Volvo fashion, very minimalistic, no words, just a picture. Big turn signals in the side mirrors, very nice, and you get that nice clean look of the door handle. No buttons, nothing sticking out, just run your finger along that, and that's how you unlock and lock the doors. Also, fun fact, the mirrors close in when you lock the doors. So let's back up a little bit. Yes, it's a wagon, and it's my favorite body style, but it's really low. So I think it's just a nice, very sleek look that the V60 has. Let's go around to the rear, and yes, I am at the IKEA just outside of my hometown of Mississauga. You got the cool quad tailpipes integrated right in there. It looks absolutely gorgeous. You get the green plates, a nice Volvo spacing up across the top V60. Here's where it gets a little cluttered, and I really don't like this. So there's the T8, and there's the inscription trim, and there's the twin engine, and there's the all-wheel drive, and the Polestar engineered. I know it's really small and very well placed, but it just seems like it's a little busy for me. So let's open up the trunk. You can also kick your foot underneath there, but I just figure to save a little bit of time. This came from Volvo Canada, so there are winter mats because it is the end of September as I'm recording this. Plenty of space back here. Pass through right there if you are a skier. I'm a skier. I'm a terrible skier, but nonetheless, I am a skier. Really cool. You can actually lock it instead of lock it as well instead of just closing it. And Volvo, just like IKEA with their images, there's a sensor. Kick your foot, hands are full, down it goes. Here's a perk about the V60. In addition to being able to kick underneath and open the door, you lift this up and you want to get this up, but you're like, hey, I don't really know how to latch it, and I only have one hand. So basically what you do is you take this little strap with the red hook, and you just hook it up there, and that's how Volvo makes it easy. Just a quick look underneath, no spare tire. You do get the tire fill kit and a few other things. You do get a jack, an amplifier for your sound, and the battery pack underneath there. But I really like this. Let's take a look at the rear seats in the V60. So I've opened up the center console, cup holders there, slides nicely in there, storage here, a little bit of storage here, cover comes down, and all of it goes back up. So you can physically fit 3 people, but as you can tell by that big hump in the middle, your middle passenger won't be the happiest, so keep them there for a short period of time. This is spec'd with the optional heated rear seats for your outboard passengers. Nice move, 3 stages. No USB port back here. Yes, there's a 12 volt, but bit of an irk that there's no USB in a 2020 vehicle. Quick look up front before we jump in there. A nice clean design from our good folks over at Volvo. Close up the door. All right, so here's what the inside of the door panel looks like. Pretty standard stuff, again, carryover model for the last couple of years. Thankfully, there is storage in here as opposed to it being hollow all the way through. You get the nice yellow for the speaker cone inside of the grille. It's a beautiful Bowers & Wilkins audio system, very, very clear and boomy and trebly, and it's got all the good stuff. So I'll go into more of that in the driving portion. Memory seats, and again, standard stuff right over here. Let's go take a look at the seats, because these are my favorite seats of all time. No one does seats better than Volvo, hands down. I said it, I meant it. And everything's so minimal in here. This controls the side bolsters, the thigh extender, and the lumbar support. So they've been very functional there. The thigh bolsters don't look like much, but they are very, very sturdy. And it's the side bolsters that really really make a big difference here. Because isn't a word, but because this is the inscription trim, they've actually put that on the headrest. You know, you don't really see it, and I think it's a little gimmicky, but I think full marks for Volvo for just paying a little extra attention to detail. All right, so let's start with the dashboard, fully digital. Before we jump into that, let's look at the start-stop button. Yes, it's cool, it's nice, but it's plasticky, and I don't know, it just kind of takes away from it. So here's what your opening screen looks like. All the safety that is optioned with the car as a little checklist, and you can change it. I believe there's 4 different looks and styles for the dashboard. I've gone to minimalistic because, well, that's just what I like. The difference here is because it's the T8 plug-in hybrid, you do get the word hybrid there, and that little B stands for battery. So I'll put the car into gear, neutral, drive, and one more down gets us into B for the battery mode. But again, more of that on the interior. Put it back in the park. You won't see any words except for the logo on Volvo steering wheels. That's your cruise control option, all that on this side. And these are your track, forward, backward, and volume controls, voice control, and you push that and look in the middle of your screen, and you get all sorts of different information for your trip, media, phone, or navigation. So let's get out of that. You do have the cool driftwood option here, and it's actually textured. It's not too refined, so I really like that. I like the advancement in technology. I don't like that everything has to be touchscreen. The only tactile buttons are your flashers, front and rear defoggers. Track moves, which is really strange because you have that right there, and the volume control and a couple of memory slots there. So I don't know, I want a few more tactile buttons for me. So, you know, you slide to the right and you get a bunch of options. You know, cool ones are the wiper service position, all your cameras, automatic parking, and then you slide up. So all your safety is here, and then let's go back this way, and let's go this way, and get a little more information there. And then obviously you can swipe down to go to your settings, and that gives you a whole different menu. This does have the very cool crystal shifter. It does light up at night. I'll try and get a shot of that. It is Sunday, the day the car goes back, which is how I do all my reviews. But anyway, it's really cool there. A bit of an annoyance for me, not quite an irk, but I don't know, it's almost an irk. So reverse neutral drive, and you can see the car is in park. I'm not sure if you can take a listen, but I'm going to push it forward 1, and that puts me in neutral. Forward again puts me in reverse, and you can see that beautiful camera. More of that in a moment, but it's not just a 1 pull. You got to hit it twice. So let's go back to park. I'll be a little quieter this time. So this is me going into reverse. 2 pushes. And to get to drive from reverse, it's 1 and 2. So again, minor thing, just a bit of an annoyance, but I got past it pretty quick. This is, you know, I like it. It's nice. Piano black, don't really care for that, but it covers anything that you don't want people to see. But you can't really put anything in here. It's just a space for cup holders. That's it. That's all. And here's my big irk. Look at how shallow that center console is, and I don't know what you'd possibly put in there. Maybe a few coins, but my wallet barely fits, and the 2 USB ports are there. And the 12 volt there, so just, I don't know, there's not really a lot of storage or function. Beautiful frameless rear view mirror, really sharp. A few more options up there, and a massive panoramic sunroof lets all the light in, especially with a dark interior. I believe this is charcoal black along with the seats, so really nice touch there. I would definitely spec it with that. All right, let's get this V60 on the road. Before we get started on the drive portion, a huge, massive thank you to everybody who's watched over the past 5 years. I rolled over 5,000 subscribers on the YouTube channel as of September 19th. So again, thank you. Hardly seems like a grateful enough word, but I am very grateful. I'm flattered. I am humbled. I really didn't think I'd make it past 1,000, but here we are at 5,000, and let's shoot for, and let's go for 10,000. You know, let's keep our what's that popular saying? Head in the clouds, feet in the ground. Be realistic, but be aspirational. So yeah, thank you to everybody that's helped along the way. I really am flattered by it, and everybody that's watched and subscribed. Thank you. So I somehow lost the video clip for the first couple of minutes talking about the horsepower and the torque and the driving impressions. So as you watch these lovely patriotic shots of the Volvo and IKEA, I'll give you your numbers. So it's a 2.0 liter 4-cylinder engine. It's turbocharged and supercharged, all through an 8-speed automatic transmission. Total net horsepower is 415 and total net torque is 494 pound-feet. Just the gasoline engine alone gives you 313 horsepower and 295 pound-feet of torque, with the balance being made up through the electric motor. So the full name of the car is a 2020 Volvo V60 Inscription Polestar engineered all-wheel drive plug-in hybrid electric vehicle. Yes, that's a lot of name, but then again, it's a whole lot of car. So on the road, it's very planted, and probably due to the lower center of gravity and Volvo's great all-wheel drive. And it can be tamed in hybrid mode or pure mode, but if you really want to open it up and make the most of all those 415 combined horsepower, put it into Polestar mode and you'll get a lot of response out of the engine. And it's not an exciting drive. I'd say it's more of a spirited drive than anything else. And it's relatively quiet and handles corners and turns extremely well. And Volvo's always done a good job at engineering very sturdy vehicles that perform very well. The battery is an 11.6 kilowatt per hour one, and it gives you about 35 kilometers of range when you drive it. Not quite passively, but let's say predictably. You know, you're not going to run and gun it right up to the next stoplight, and you're going to watch your traffic patterns and cars that are around you. So if you've got a short commute to work or you don't really do too much driving, let's say during the week, you'll notice your petrol points dwindling because you won't be at the gas station nearly as often. Now, there is an option in the infotainment system where you can activate the battery of the vehicle, the engine of the vehicle, sorry, to charge the battery as you drive. And that's if, you know, let's say you're doing a 100-kilometer drive somewhere and you go through your 35 kilometers pretty quick. What you can do is use that engine power, recharge the battery, and get more electric range in total as the engine converts the power to charging the battery. Going back to the drive portion for a moment, it's a very quiet ride in the cabin, and even with the battery power going on, you'd think more of the road noise would bleed through the windows, but Volvo has done such a good job of insulating the vehicle so well that I've hardly noticed any road noise come in when I'm in full EV mode or in coasting mode. And back to the actual on-road performance, the Olin suspension that they have really helps you feel that much more connected to the road. And to me, that makes for a much more enjoyable drive. And the driving experience itself is heightened through that. On the fuel consumption side, it's a 60-liter tank and it takes 91 octane. And your fuel figures are in liters per 100 kilometers, 8.4 in the city and 7 on the highway, for a blended total of 7.8. I'm at 7.9. I've done 847 kilometers, and there's another about 56 kilometers to go to get this from my house back to Volvo's head office. So I imagine I'll probably drop another 0.2. So I should end up at the 7.6, 7.7, which is right in line with it. And I've done an even balance of city driving as well as highway driving. And I haven't tried to drive this more or less. It just happened that this past week I had a little bit of extra driving to do. And the V60 has done a tremendous job in the ride comfort, the ride quality, the quietness of the ride. Fit and finish of the interior is very premium, elegantly done. The drawback and irk for me is there's really not a lot of functional space to use. And the cup holders and the doors are small, so you can't put a reusable water bottle in there. You only have the 2 cup holders up front, and that's not the irk. The irk is that you don't have any other storage in that kind of center spot by the gear shifter and cup holders. There's no wireless charging. The glove box is great. It's fairly large and fairly deep, but the center console storage is very thin and shallow, so you don't really have a lot of places to put your stuff and things. The large tablet style infotainment system is great for pulling information out of. Bad thing is that it's pretty much the only way you can pull things out of that. There are, let me count them for you, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hard touch buttons plus a volume dial. Just give me a couple more, Volvo. Just, I take a smaller screen, so, you know, dial it back from the 12.3 inches, make it 10, and give me just a couple of buttons at the top or the bottom or on the side. Standout feature for me, and an absolute perk, is the upgraded Bowers & Wilkins audio system. It is just monstrous. It's 1100 watts, it's 15 speakers, and I'm going to say it out loud. It is my favorite audio system of 2020. You have the different sound experiences from the studio to the concert hall, and it's just so good. Overall, the 2020 Volvo V60 T8 Polestar engineered all-wheel drive plug-in hybrid electric vehicle is very impressive. And sorry, it's also the Inscription trim, so it's the highest on the luxury trim. I believe there is Momentum, R Design. So Momentum is their classic, R Design is their quick racing inspired one. Inscription is their top trim as far as luxury goes, and then they tack on the Polestar. So it's really the best of everything. Almost forgot my train of thought here. Overall, the vehicle's impressive. It casts such a beautiful, gorgeous, and elegant stance. I miss wagons. I wish there would be a few more manufacturers that offered them. I think when people think of wagons, Volvo is the number one. The Outback is number two. BMW had a 3 Series wagon. Mercedes also, I believe they got one. I believe they have one wagon left in their lineup, but I've always loved them. It's a great stance. It's being lower to the ground and having, to me, more of a connection with the road. I don't know how many people are actually going to pick up the Polestar engineered version of the V60. I think it's more of a specialty consumer option, again, compared to the Momentum and R Design and regular Inscription. But if you want to have a little bit of an impact on the environment and you still want to have a lot of fun behind the wheel, this is probably the best way to do it. And I hope I'm seeing more of these on the road. It's going to wrap up the review on the 2020 Volvo V60. Insert long name here. If you've got any questions on the vehicle, please let me know in the comments, and I'll do my best to get you answers as soon as possible. Thank you so much for watching. I really, really, really do appreciate the support. And, you know, feel free to subscribe if you haven't already. Be well, be healthy, be safe, and I'll be back sooner than later with my next review.